All right, the next items on the view menu is the volume envelope and the pan envelope. We'll take a quick look at both of these. However, we'll get more into detail about the plug-in chainer, which is what they're part of, and a little bit later on. Okay, here we are with a sample song I've got open. I'll play a couple seconds of it. There we go. Okay, so we've got some music there. And under the view menu, next thing we've got the volume envelope and pan envelope. And what this is going to do when I open up the volume envelope is it's going to open up the plug-in chainer. And again, we'll get into more detail on the plug-in chainer and all the controls here and the way you can put multiple plugins together and how you can order them and how you can make them, you can put a whole bunch of plugins together in a chain and automate them basically, which is really cool, especially if you've got a bunch of audio files, you need to process them all the same way. But let me just show you real quick basically how these two functions work, seeing as how they are under the view menu. What we're presented with is, once we get this plugin open, is that we're presented with the volume control. Right now it's right in the center at 50%, and we have a visual representation of it down here. We actually have and you can see how our slider moves as I move the volume up and down. So when I'm right smack in the middle, there it is. Now, if I want to adjust the volume in different places, what I can do is I can move my cursor down until I come over the line here that's in the center of the waveforms, and I can double-click on an area, and it puts new key points in for me. So I can take these key points, and I can move them and drag them around and adjust the volume accordingly. I'll put one more here, and I'll drag this one back down to normal. So now let's play this and see what it sounds like. Now if I play it down here just in the normal window, we won't hear any difference at all. But if I go up here into the plug-in chainer and I hit the preview button, then I can hear what my changes are going to sound like. Let's take a listen. You can also see the volume slider sliding back and forth. So you get an idea of how you can do that, and basically you can, you can make whatever kind of volume changes, subtle ones, the little ones at the beginning. If you need to zoom way in and take something just down in one section or something like that, or at the very end of the file, you can do that as well too. So that's the volume. And we're going to go ahead and close out of this so that we won't have any of those changes. Next down on the view menu is the pan envelope. And you notice that there's single letter shortcuts for these as well too. You've got the V and the P. So I can go here and I can just pull this down and it'll pop it up with the same plug-in chainer, only with the pan now as the plugin that is in the foreground. And I can now go ahead and use the pan. And you can notice that I can see both. If I wanted to, for example, not see the volume, I could get rid of it here. I could also disable it completely too. So I could show it, but it would be disabled. And you can see when I show it and it's disabled, it becomes a dotted line down here. So in this case, I'm going to hide it both. And now you can see that it's a different colored line for the pan. And you can actually see that there's a contextual rollover too, so that it says pan. If I go back to volume and roll over it, it'll say volume, and I roll over this, and it'll say pan. And there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and hide those for a second. And it's basically the same exact function. I can come in and I can set different key points, and I can just take those and I can drag them around and drag this one way down here and drag this one up here and, kind of get this one back down here, and then we'll put one more in and drag it right back up so we got a stereo right smack in the middle mix. Go back up here again and hit the preview button, and we'll hear it pan around. There we go. A true headphone experience. So, and if I come back here and I go to show my volume and enable it, then you can see that it would both the volume and the panning overlap each other, and you can see how they overlap. And again, you can toggle back and forth between the two in terms of which one's active and which one you're actually making changes on right here in the plugin chainer. But again, we're going to get into the plugin chainer in a lot more depth a little bit later on. But I just wanted to show you those two functions because they're right there in the view menu.